How do we give New Yorkers greater confidence in their government? The efforts of U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara and a host of other law enforcement agencies are surely playing an important role. But clearly these agencies were never designed to monitor, investigate, and police the more than 3,400 entities of government across the state, to say nothing of the hundreds of thousands of people that work for these entities who are supposed to be upholding the public trust. Many believe that another round of legislation in Albany is the answer, but 4 such laws have been passed in just the last 6 years, and still corruption persists. What New York lacks is not another law written by the offenders. It lacks local, citizen-driven oversight. To empower citizens and address this gap, Reclaim New York is advancing an unprecedented statewide transparency project. The New York Transparency Project has created the state's first searchable, comprehensive database of government expenditures at the local level. We are educating citizens across the state about how we can improve government transparency, and we are creating roadmaps for local governments that outline the steps they can take to foster proactive transparency. This project moves New York toward an era of citizen-driven oversight and transparency from our government. People are learning about their rights and gaining information to laws and expenditures that are guaranteed. Simply put, it's time people started to see how their money is really being spent. Just as important, public officials are becoming acutely aware that people are paying attention. In the Hudson Valley, Reclaim New York sent 246 requests in full compliance with the state's Freedom of Information laws. We asked every city, town, village, school districts, and 5 counties to produce their 2014 fiscal year checkbooks. Across the state, more than 1,500 FOIA requests have already been sent to local governments as well. To date, we have received complete information from 203 of the 246 entities in the Hudson Valley. Now that's a good start, but problems remain. We're filing this lawsuit today because the Peekskill City School District, Beacon City School District, Chester Union Free School District, Village of Spring Valley, and the town of Deer Park failed to comply with the law. In total, 10 school districts and municipalities across the 5 counties either ignored, denied, or otherwise failed to complete the requests. Another 25 entities have accounting systems so outdated they could only produce paper or PDF copies that were not machine readable. To be clear, these are all public records that are supposed to be accessible under the law. In 1974, New York passed the Freedom of Information law based on this presumption of access. New Yorkers have a right to information, to scrutinize expenditures and contracts, and if necessary, to hold public officials in the Hudson Valley accountable. The litigation that we're filing today was in response to repeated and deliberate efforts on the part of these governments. They are attempting to prevent public disclosure of how they spend taxpayer dollars. This litigation is the first step to holding these public officials accountable. But we shouldn't have to do this. We shouldn't have to take public officials to court to remind them that they work for the taxpayer. And it doesn't matter if these denials stem from arrogance, incompetence, or just disregard for the law. Their actions show a lack of responsiveness, and if it takes a lawsuit to force transparency, then so be it, because we are done tolerating this behavior. Every year, the cost of government in the Hudson Valley goes up. Every year, the cost of living in the Hudson Valley goes up. And it's residents that are struggling to foot that bill. Yet somehow, these governments don't believe that taxpayers deserve this information. Through the New York Transparency Project, Reclaim New York is here to remind them that transparency is not a hope, it is not an idea. Transparency is the law. With that, I'd like to introduce our attorney, Ben Gailey, of Jacobowitz and Gubitz. He's our special counsel for this project, and he'll answer any questions about the lawsuit and details on the legal basis for the claim. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Ben Gaylor from the law firm Wood & Gubitz. I'm not here to give a presentation. If you have any specific questions about the suit that Brandon has just summarized for you, we'll be glad to answer those.
Tell us briefly what you're seeking.
Well, we're seeking a court order to compel these jurisdictions to provide the public records that Reclaim New York has requested repeatedly and has actually attempted to facilitate the delivery of those records to the Reclaim New York. And in addition, seeking attorney's fees because Reclaim New York nor any citizen should be required to resort to litigation to obtain public records.